Hello everyone, welcome to the Captain's Video Blog. We are Thursday, November the 3rd, 2016, and oh boy, it's been a kind of a strange day, honestly. So, the video weblog from yesterday, I've pretty much mentioned in the description that it was supposed to be a test run. I just wanted to see if I could talk about what I wanted to talk about. Well, in this case, Smackdown and other stuff in about 14 minutes, and I have been barely able to talk about Smackdown. There was also a lot of hesitations, lots of blunders saying, yes, Smackdown Survivor Series team. So yeah, but after that, I made more space on my phone, on my SD card. I just didn't have the motivation. It was around 3 a.m. So I was done watching NXT. There was also and then I stayed around to watch the Monday Night War. The episode was about Sting and The Undertaker being, the mainstays in WWE and WCW, because they decided to never jump ship, and it was very true for Sting. When he was a top star in WCW, he could have gone to WWE pretty easily. They could have negotiated something very, very lucrative. But then again, the Sting that was against the NWO, how could he have fitted into WWE? Because it would have been something very similar to The Undertaker in his character, despite the fact that he never spoke. So yeah, very interesting insight, really. One thing that I've always thought that was a bit strange about WCW was that the first ever Monday Nitro was in the Mall of America in Minneapolis. Yeah, that was built over an old baseball stadium, I think. There's the home plate somewhere in the stadium, and there's somewhere in the mall, and there's a stadium seat, at the point where there is the furthest home run ever hit in that stadium. So yeah, it just felt weird that in the middle of a hallway of a big supermarket, there was just a ring set up, and that's where they did the first ever Monday Nitro. I mean, to be fair, the first ever Monday Night Raw was in the Manhattan Center, probably in the Hammerstein Ballroom, the place where they did the first two ECW One Night Stands, and the first couple of WWE ECW shows. So yeah, I mean that's a theater. Maybe that's probably more adapted to wrestling. So yeah, and then there was the World Series match, the Game 7 of the World Series between the Cubs and the Indians. That the Indians made it completely crazy around 3 or 4 a.m. They tied it to 6-6, I think, in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they had to go to the 10th inning for the Cubs to win their first World Series in 108 years. Just think about it. 108 years ago, when they last won the World Series, the Ottoman Empire still existed. That was before World War I. That's how fucking crazy that was. So yeah, big props to Theo Epstein, who managed to break the droughts of both the Cubs and the Red Sox, who hadn't won in a fucking long time when Epstein arrived and made them win. For a president, I mean, for an executive, he has a track record of doing a lot of good things for his teams. So yeah. And then, probably because I ate too much, it's the period when everyone is sick. So, there's a gastroenteritis all over the country right now. So maybe it could be that, but right now I feel pretty fucking great. So yeah, I threw up in the early hours of the morning, something like 7 or 8 a.m. Then, I just had to wait for, I'm still waiting for everything to arrive from Poland, from Japan. So yeah, the fact of the matter is that I stayed up essentially until 3 p.m. when I was sure that nothing would come from the postal service. Yeah, I woke up at something like 10 p.m. Yeah. So sure. The only thing that I'm a bit miffed about right now is that I missed the 2 episodes of The Strain, because I think there were 2 episodes of The Strain. Very good series. I loved the novels, and the series is pretty fucking faithful actually. So yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about NXT. It's just don't have anything to talk about really. So NXT started with Austin Aries and Roderick Strong in the ring. Austin Aries not in condition to wrestle. He received a big kick from Nakamura. Didn't look that stiff. Looked very Nakamura, except he broke one eye hole. I don't have the technical word. So he asked TM61 to just forfeit the match and let the greatest tag team that ever existed, Roderick Strong and Austin Aries, just advance to the semifinals. But TM61, they didn't take too kindly to that. So yeah, it had to be a little conflict. That was broken off by William Regal, who said that one member of TM61, in that case Shane Thorne, would face Roderick Strong, and the winner of the match would make his team advance to the semifinals. Roderick Strong, he's very good, but apparently, it makes sense because Aries could be on the sidelines until early 2017, so it made sense that Strong lost to Shane Thorne. It was a very good match, a very good opener, made you feel great. I think those were tapings in California, so very early after Aries got his eye destroyed actually. But yeah, very good match, very good technical intensity. I don't think that the rivalry will go much further. Just an aside, all the show was the second round, the quarterfinals of the Dusty Classic. Just saying, because there's only 2 shows before Takeover Toronto. So yeah, the semifinals will probably take place next week and the week after, and the final will be in Toronto. So yeah, it was very sound technically. There is no doubt that TM61 or TM61, as friendly that everyone wants to call them, are a very good team. They just weren't really known for their solo work, and despite the fact that Aries tried to intervene several times in the match, didn't work. Then there was DIY, so Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. There was always lots of anticipation when Gargano and Ciampa compete, because they are a very good tag team. They are very good solo athletes. But there's just this feeling that they are going to break up, and it's going to be fucking violent, and nobody wants to see that because they are just such great pals. They were set to face the Revival, but the bald one, I try to remember Yeah, it's Scott Dawson. Obviously, he's the one who was there for, who has had the most exposure on NXT since 2013. So yeah, Scott Dawson arrived on crutches, said that they couldn't compete. So yeah, they advanced by default. And top guys out, clink me, and goodbye. Um, Obviously, Gargano and Ciampa weren't really impressed with that, saying that they saw that coming miles away, but that at any rate they will get their hands on the revival, and they're gonna get the titles from them, which could happen. So yeah, that's going to be more Gargano and Ciampa. Let's just hope that they don't lose the titles on the first title defense, on the rematch, and that's when they break up. Yeah. Cedric Alexander said that he had learned a lot from being stabbed in the back by Andrade Cien Almas. So yeah, that's probably a match that's gonna happen at Takeover Toronto. Very good match. I mean, it could be a very good match. Cedric Alexander is incredibly over as a face, especially after his match against Kota Ibushi. And Andrade Cien Almas, maybe the heel turn is what's going to make him into the star he needs to be. Really to just make it sure that he didn't abandon his mask for nothing. Could have very well worn his mask on the WWE, NXT. It's just the management who decided not to. But yeah, so far it hasn't really worked for him. So we'll see. The next match was the Authors of Pain against Rich Swann and No Way Jose. No Way Jose and Rich Swann had a very good match. At one point, it felt like they could have even won because they worked really, really well as a tag team. They really, managed to find what doesn't work with the Authors of Pain. The fact that they are too brutal, too in your face. So yeah, when you start dodging their strikes, they become much less deadly. That's kind of how it works. So yeah, but Paul Ellering, I think it was on Rich Swann, because it just went so fast that I cannot really remember. It was also 24 hours ago that I watched the whole thing. He started choking him on the bottom rope, so yeah, that gave the edge to the Authors of Pain. Not a very easy victory, but a very dominant victory. Anyway, who are they facing? I'm not sure. I would say that they are facing the winners of the last match, but I'm not sure. Are DIY facing TM61? I just need to remember the bracket. No, DIY they are there. There it's Sanity versus Ibushi and Perkins. Where are TM61 and the Authors of Pain? I don't really remember. We will see next week anyway. So yeah, the final match of the evening was Sanity, so Alexander Wolf and Sawyer Fulton, who apparently wears eyeliner, against Kota Ibushi and and TJ Perkins. It was a good match. I mean, it's obviously, the struggle between power and strength, despite the fact that Kota Ibushi is incredibly strong. Like when he did the Golden Star Bomb, essentially a sit-out last ride on, was it Sawyer Fulton? No, it was on Alexander Wolf. He could have very well won the match, but it's essentially 4-2 when you go against Sanity. The referee was distracted by Nikki Cross and Eric Young and, I will say Sawyer Fulton. So he couldn't really see anything, especially the pin. Kota Ibushi counted like he was like at 5 when the referee finally turned to see that there was a pin going on. Very, very, very classical tactic, but always so effective. So good on them. They say, you can see that despite their outer appearance of being, completely mad and all that, they are actually really methodical. Like when they target someone, they target exclusively that person, and they take the person out, and then they target a limb, and they distract the referee. It's all very strategic, and that's probably the most deceptive thing about sanity. So yeah, they qualify. Um, yeah. I mean, I'm not really feeling good about yesterday's video upload. I feel like adding 2 minutes would have helped me talk about all the ragging on Raw that Daniel Bryan has done all through the night. It started with criticizing Renee for wearing red and going on Raw Talk and saying that he's her boss, and to tell Vince McMahon to get screwed when he wants her to do Raw Talk, to just saying, yeah, let's then take Attitude Era superstars, despite like the Headbangers and Rhino are on the Smackdown roster. So yeah. Anyway, tomorrow is a game against Montpellier, very, very important. Aaron Leia Iseka, the brother of Michi Batshuayi, did a silly when he went to the Meridian airport instead of going to the commandery for the appointment. The whole the reunion. So before going to Montpellier. So yeah, he's out of the group, which is kind of dumb because he is a pretty good striker despite his big misses last week. So he's been replaced in the group by Rapiar, who might be starting against Montpellier. So that's twice against Montpellier in a row that he starts. Good on him. It's his chance to show Garcia what he's capable of. So yeah, eyes are on him. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.